What's going on, guys? So welcome to carsahh BJJ Rules. If you guys know both my channels, I have carsahh and then now I have this channel, carsahh BJJ Rules. It was a little active a year back and I was just uploading all my raw footage on it, but I've decided to move all the match commentaries here and keep carsahh for the big videos. So with that being said, let's get into this round here. So I went down to Peru recently with Guardian. You guys can see their logo here in the background. They're really awesome. They're a nonprofit building gyms and helping give kids access to jiu-jitsu that otherwise wouldn't really have access to jiu-jitsu. So it's a really cool program. If you guys want to donate, the link is at the top of the description down below. Something I'm really passionate about. And if you guys would like to help in this, help and support in this project, I would really appreciate you guys checking out the project. So with that being said, let's get into this round with Miguel. My wrestling game is very counter wrestle oriented. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing collar tie wrist, and I think collar tie wrist is really strong because we can force our opponent into bad spots and then capitalize on them. And what I want to go over right now is we have a collar tie here with my left hand, and then my right hand is gripping the wrist. Now what I'm doing is I'm dragging his arm down, and I want to pull his elbow away from his ribs, because the tighter his elbow is on his ribs, the more tense and strong he is. But the farther I can bring his hand away and his elbow away, the weaker his upper body is. So what this allows us to do is I can swing the arm open, duck, and hit a duck under here. So as I'm hitting this duck under, I'm dragging the head down, swinging the wrist out, and then throwing my head behind his armpit and trying to look up to the opposite side to avoid the guillotine. So I'll just let that play out real quick. Just like that, and we're able to put Miguel down. So as soon as I fall, as soon as we get to guard here, I want to get these ankles to the outside of my hips. And you can see Miguel's going to go for this grip on my ankle here. Now, this ankle grip is meaningless if I can get the feet to the outside, because essentially what he's doing is he's pulling me in and trying to entangle me with his legs. But if we can remove the legs from the equation, put them to the outside of our hips, and he's just left pulling me in, well, I want to go in. So my idea is to move the feet to the outside and then drop in. So you're going to see I'm just kind of playing here until I can find that ankle, push to the outside, and now look at his hands. Both hands are forced to push against me, and he can no longer grip and be offensive with his guard. So he's forced to push me away, forcing our opponent into a defensive cycle, which is really strong here. So as I do this, you'll also notice I'm pulling that knee out, which exposes this space. Once again, emphasizing the hands to come in. With that being said, as this knee is being warded off, as the knee's being warded off, the opposite leg's going to come in. So you're going to see him go to throw his right leg into the equation, and we're going to switch. My left hand's going to go to the hip, and I'm going to flare my elbow, and I'm going to start pushing that leg away as well. So we ran into the bag here. He was able to re-guard with that bottom leg, but I have more sequences in that space coming up, so I'll go ahead and cover those when they happen. Okay, so as we get back into this position here, we're going to go palm to palm, and I'm going to spin Miguel around. And there's two options I have here, right? I can just force my way in, drop chest to chest, or I know he's going to win this battle, all right? His arms are here, his leg's about to come in. I know I'm going to lose this battle and he's going to re-guard in some capacity. So instead of forcing my way down, I'm just going to counter. So I know this leg is coming over. I'm going to scoop grip, transition to the other side. And also notice I'm throwing my legs, like I'm throwing my hips away, because I don't want him underhooking that leg, because he can get into leg entanglements. So just one more time here. We're going to spin the hands, scooping the leg, and watch my hips. I'm throwing my hips away. From there, I'm just forcing my chest into him. I have a really deep pass. So now I'm going to start to force my way in. This arm is going to come around, bar the hip, and I'm going to start to close off this space here. And notice I'm going to take my left arm here, and I'm going to reach around his arm, trapping it in there. And I have a reverse crossface, which is really strong. So next, I'm going to start bringing my knee up and starting to push his legs down. And then notice how fast I'm going to slap my foot out here. So it slaps out to prevent him from re-guarding. Now I'm going to try to go on to some mount attacks here. So initially, we're just going to go for this gift wrap. I'm going to start pushing this hand down, trying to grab it with my opposite wrist, and then I want to keep him on his side. So ideally, my right leg here goes high, and I can start sitting out to chair sit. But unfortunately, he does flatten back out to the ground, so we have to make some adjustments here. From mount, my idea is always to push a wrist down to the floor. So you're going to see me keep my chest down, use the shoulder to force him to look this way, and then if I can get a wrist pinned to the ground or start to work an arm up and get an arm across the body, we're going to be in a really, really strong position here. So as I look to pommel over on this side, I think he's blocking it, or I get a little weary that he might capture the leg. So I switch off to the other side, and we're just going to easily pommel our leg over right there. Now, he's a very athletic dude. He's literally an Olympic surfer, so very explosive. And he's going to start rocking me back and forth here, starting to bridge off. Now, going back into that passing, right, we're pushing the legs to the outside of our hips. I'm flaring my elbow. And now with this knee in the center of my chest, I'm going to start pushing his hips to the opposite side. So my idea is always to force the hips to face away from me, right? Because if I can do that, then he's only left to push me away with his hands. And while he can frame all he wants, I have gravity on my side, so I just let the knee slip by and I drop my chest down. So now transitioning into north-south here. Let's see. All right, so he's able to regard. All right, so really good sweep right there. I can sense him going into reverse de la Hiva, so I go ahead and sit my hip to the ground to prevent him from inverting, but instead of inverting, he just comes up on the sweep. And now, once again, like you can see him trying to force the feet to the outside of my hips, but if I just maintain the feet in front of my hips, it's going to be very hard for him to start passing with an outside like mindset. The other thing is, he's trying to pick up my feet, but every time he goes for the foot, I can easily grab his hand here, right? So pushing my shoulder back and then grabbing a leg would have been a little bit stronger because he can jab my shoulder back and then grab a foot and push me backwards. But because he's not doing that, I can easily just grab the hands, shake them off, and I'm able to stand up from here. So a few more wrestling exchanges. Once again, playing that collar tie wrist, going for the duck under. But the reason I couldn't get the duck under there is his elbow wasn't super disconnected from his torso. So as I go for the duck under, he's able to, he's stronger there, right? So he's able to lock me in a front headlock and we're forced to back up. Go for a little arm drag action here and back on a collar tie wrist. So I go for a snap down there of my own and dang. Oh, that was so pretty. So look, we have a collar tie and we had wrist. Now, as I slap off on this Russian tie, I'm going to drag him forward this way and he's going to go to post on my head. And as he goes to post this arm on my neck here, I'm going to duck under that arm. And it's going to be a little hard to see because this guy runs by, but we're able to just slide that by, go into a little Russian tie duck under there. So finding the back, sitting into hooks, and I believe I get a rear naked choke here, but it's a little hard to see. So we're just going to fast forward through this. Yeah, we get the choke, but I have another rear naked choke later in this video that I'd rather cover because that one is a little hard to understand what happens. But all right, so back into it, I decide to pull guard, and once again, keeping the feet in front. That was the most surfer shit I've ever seen. Wait. Yeah. So just goes for a little hop step over there. Keeping the feet in front. As soon as he goes to push the feet to the outside, I'm circling the foot back in. And check this out. So once again, elbow is disconnected far away from the ribs. That means the space is open and available for my neck to slide through. So you're going to see me switch my feet to the outside and we're going to hit a duck under right here, diving my head up. And now as soon as he hits the ground, notice my knee is going to come up and connect with my elbow. That way I can prevent the close guard. And I also have this really, really strong hook here. So my leg can now start pushing my hook can now start pushing his legs down as I raise my hips up. And as soon as my knee line gets free here, I should be able to either knee cut or back step. And I believe his hook falls off. Yeah, so the hook falls off, I back step. Now we're in side control here. So another good example of that pass, my hands on the hip, I'm flaring my elbow and I'm going to push the knee into my chest, keeping his right foot in my armpit here. So if the foot's on my hip, if his foot is lower onto my hip, then we're not really going to be able to push the hips away and make them face the opposite direction. And I think we'll be able to see that here. So, right. So now the foot falls lower than my hip. I can no longer push. Let me reset. All right, look. So we're pushing the hips away, right? Because the knee's in the center of my chest and the foot's high in my elbow. However, we lose this battle and the foot drops to my hip and the knee drops below to my hip. So now there's no more pushing the hips to the opposite direction and we have to win with angle. So watch my hips. They're going to be on Miguel's guard side, and now they're gonna walk to the hip side. All right. Now we have a really deep pass here. All right. I can drop my chest down, but because of Miguel's hip position and this leg coming in, once again, I decide it's not worth fighting this battle. It's riskier, right? I either lose the pass or I get into an armbar. So once again, we're going to counter by duck under. Yep. So we just duck under and switch to the opposite side. And notice the foot's low on my hip, right? Foot to hip ratio. I'm going to push the foot into my armpit and then sprawl my hips forward and push those hips away. Man, hips has no more meaning to me. I've said that so much. Once again, also cutting my hips to the head side and avoiding that bottom hook. So let me just give you guys this, just so you can see. So he gets back to guard, flaring the elbow, pushing the hip across initially. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Just watch. I'm sorry. This is my third time recording this because OBS keeps messing up. So I'm trying as hard as I can to make sure I get all the details in there, but my head's spinning a little bit from saying everything so many times. Anyways, we're going to swivel over into turtle. I push him over, insert the bottom hook, and check this out. So you can see whenever I go for a naked choke, this is a very important detail, right? So we shoot the arm across. All right, let me just do this here. We shoot the arm across for the rear naked. I know they're going to grab this hand, right? So as they grab the hands, my other hand is coming and pushing the hand off, right? And once the hand is pushed off, now I can go to choke. I don't believe I necessarily have to push the hand off because of how deep I get my hand initially. So I end up just like framing a little bit, and then I should be able to slide into the rear naked pretty easily here. Now we're just squeezing and we're getting the tap. So that was a long video, but so I hope you guys were able to learn some new stuff. Let me know if you guys like this sort of commentary style. It's something new I'm implementing. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to go subscribe to Carsahh as well as this channel, Carsahh BJJ Rules, for more jiu-jitsu content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.